Good morning, fellow Ambazonians. Today, na Friday, number 22 day for the month of April, 2022. My name na Capo Daniel, the Deputy Defense Chief, Anti-Kidnapping Czar of the Ambazonian Governing Council, aka Sense Pass King, una own countryman. Una welcome to our daily podcast, a program where they bring meaningful information, fact-based and evidence-based analysis for help our people navigate this journey to our freedom, to the independence of the former British Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. Great people of the Southern Cameroons, citizens of Ambazonia. As the saying goes, when God is the one punish a nation, it make them their leader, they make mistake. This one it pertain to the Republic of Cameroon, where they enter into a military accord with Russia at a time when Russia it be in an unpopular war, where it then be declared an illegal invasion by the United Nations General Assembly against the sovereign state of Ukraine. But first, we go start for inside the Savannah state for the great state of Bui, where report it come for our cable, say the Cameroon occupation forces that then launch an offensive. It then go on for 3 days after failing for reach any of our camps and failing for get any gains. They then turn their weapons against the population using arson attack. A number of people have been confirmed dead, and the attack it take place for inside Taba Palace, for inside Croft, for Bui.
When I see a smoke, the common order, the Bonbon has them. The Bonbon has them. General, the Bonbon has them for corner that palace for Tabaso.
Our forces that then be in a combat, flanking and outflanking the Cameroon occupation forces, where they then come inside the great state of Bui in over 6 trucks and 4 armored cars that they try to get a revenge attack for the attack where it leads to the death of a general of the penitentiary of the colonial government of La République du Cameroon. The operation so far, it can be a failure. It can also demonstrate the mastery of our terrain by our soldiers and great collaboration between them and the population, as most of the population that can be evacuated in areas where the Cameroon military they currently operate inside. While for across the border into Biafra land, a young refugee where he run the war of Cameroon against Ambazonia into Biafra for seek protection, he then be killed in Boki local government area around Ikom, Obudu Road. The young man will be attacked for night. We monitor the situation. Our regards to our refugee community where they for inside Biafra and Nigeria. We will continue for the monitor and for the push for more protection as the Ambazonian Governing Council then they push for a third-party resettlement of Ambazonian refugees within there for inside Biafra and for Nigeria due to insecurity where they come about as La République du Cameroon and the Buhari government they target Ambazonians repeatedly against international humanitarian law where guarantee protection of refugees. While for the capital city for Bamenda, our forces they done the battle Cameroon military continually now for 1 month. Yesterday, the Cameroon military they attack Ala Bukam neighborhood without any success, and they increasingly turn to our population for attack our local population after failing to have any military gains.
Boy, tôi lùng cùng la, bị bức phụ, tôi lùng cùng la. Tôi yêu mồm chậm. Em mỗi em hai lượt leo. Muốn cho qua cái gì?
Our forces and the new forces the way would then bring the inside Bamenda for reinforce Bamenda. they don't improve the tactics and they don't improve their maneuver within the city and prove to be a very, very powerful force. We will continue for our offensive inside Bamenda, for keep the occupier at bay, and for make sure so we create a space for our people them for free exercise their right free of Cameroon occupation, harassment, and constant kidnapping for ransom by the Cameroon military. The Cameroon government, they continue for harass and kidnap our people, taking them to their police stations and gendarme station, and receiving huge sum of money in terms of ransom from those families in the name of bail. Our forces then be launched a counter against the operation where we go on for Labukam, coming from hospital, from behind hospital. They successfully repel and stop the operation with the Cameroon military be carrying out for Labukam. And the Cameroon, they get serious damage for one of their vehicles. We don't know how many people they be injured or dead for their side, but the result it will be good, and the operation where the Cameroon be the plan for doing for inside a Labukam, including house to house search, it will be stopped due to the counter attack we'll be carrying out for Bamenda. Inside Nkwen area, we also launched a small operation targeting a unit of Cameroon military for night. One of them be wounded, and we don't know if another one will be dead according to the result we get them from our ground commander. Back for international issues, as we talk, the Cameroon government they done sign a military accord with the Russian Federation, where it could provide them a means for free purchase weapons directly from Russia. This one it then become a big blow for La République du Cameroon internationally, as Thibault Nach, one of the former American top officials, he then talks say this is a win for America, for Ambazonia. In a tweet, Ambassador Thibault Nach expressed his shock. Talks say can't believe Cameroon government incredibly bad timing of signing military deal with Russia at height of aggression in Ukraine. This poked the eye of the United States, France, two countries Cameroon may need help from in future, but good for Ambazonia. Not only is this bad timing, this one it then demonstrate for the Ambazonian people and the Ambazonian Governing Council the exact nature for Cameroon, their international ties, and to what extent their strength it be internationally in diplomacy. We be see the Cameroon government it be decide for stay and abstain for the vote against the war in Ukraine, where it be encouraged the vote it be tabled by the United States and her allies, including France, for the General Assembly. Cameroon will be one of the few countries the way they be abstain. It show a big rift between the Republic of Cameroon, France, and the rest of the world, including the United States. If Cameroon at this time, with the sensitivity where they go on, they decide to get a military accord with Russia, na demonstration say Cameroon it don't lack international support. The United States and the West they be controlled for 90% of the agenda for international politics and the agenda of the international community within the United Nations General Assembly as well as the Security Council. This military accord it not just be in isolation, as the Ambazonian Governing Council it then also get a letter with the Cameroon government it then send them for all embassy them where they for inside Yaoundé. They forbid them, they appeal for them, may they no grant visa for any Cameroon military personnel or any Cameroon top government officials. They specify the Cameroon military personnel the way they be allowed for leave the country. It means say they don't put an injunction order for their forces them, may they no travel out of their country as they transition in the boy and poor be at the age. The rift between that country it be apparent, and we know say a lot of instability then will come for Cameroon as things they could unfold as the end of Pobia, a lifespan as well as a tyrannic rule over that country it come to an end. Make our people then be vigilant. It be very unlikely say this could help Cameroon in any meaningful way in their battle in to keep Ambazonia as a colony. The Ambazonian Governing Council President, leader of our War of Liberation, it be react in a voice note for the Governing Council where it then be shared with the general public.
Nations don't come to support a state when the opposing party to that state is not supported by the West. The Russia's strategic interest is not about state survival, it's about avoiding Western interests. Secondly, Russians rarely go to support separatists or to fight against anti-separatist kind of stuff. If Cameroon was a communist state, an entire, including Ambazonia, and then Russia might want to support Cameroon to maintain that kind of communist or socialist kind of ideas. Russia is not coming. Russia, if he wants to engage with La Republique, he will engage for his arms sales and any kind of stuff. We are not struggling to overthrow the government of Cameroon, so Russia is not coming for a rescue.
That was Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba, the leader of our War of Liberation. He did talk about the highly unlikely, say this, it could give Cameroon any benefit when it comes to a war against the Ambazonian people, as this one will never be seen as any type of shift in Russian operations across the globe. Like Thibaut Nagy talk, this one na a big win for Ambazonia diplomatically, as the West and the United States, they don't always shield Cameroon, and it don't also demonstrate, say Cameroon, it don't lost their support. We know, say the Germans, if they don't withdraw support for Cameroon military, even at the peak where they fight against Boko Haram, we see the diplomatic corps present for the CDN, and our interaction with them, it also showed lack of support for Cameroon war, the international war, the international community, the Parliament of Europe, the parliaments of even France that don't get debate, the parliaments of the United Kingdom, all of them be against Pobia war against Ambazonia as a means to continue Cameroon occupation. The entire world have been resolute in their call for negotiation as a means to resolve this sovereignty dispute between Ambazonia and La République du Cameroon. For inside the great city of Bamenda, the capital of our resistance, our forces them yesterday then stopped the Zekam, where them come for carry out a project for inside Tarinkun. They will be backed by La République du Cameroon. Some Cameroon military personnel, they will even be amongst the vehicle the way they will carry the mark of Ezekam. Ezekam, it can be suspended for carry work inside Bamenda until them pay their liberation tax. Liberation tax now a must. It's not a matter of dispute. Every company where they operate inside Bamenda, inside a whole Ambazonia, they need for pay their tax as a matter of responsibility, civil responsibility. Ezekam, if they don't receive the warning, one of the truck be burnt. And we will address the issue subsequently for give detail for our population as it regards the collection of debt. We will then address the issue previously, and we will ask Ambazonian for be vigilant, because some people, they are now speaking for the enemy due to political differences to try to gain political traction on this issue. We have made it clear to Ezekam and the officials that have contacted us that they must pay their liberation tax. They are a company, they are a multinational company, and they will pay their tax before they can carry out any job in Ambazonia. Information it reach we say the colonial government they launch a voters registration for inside Ambazonia, and that operation it go on would want inform our people, say registering to participate in elections in a organized or registry by foreign government, an alien government that seeks to impose its rule on our sovereign territory, is an act of treason that will not be tolerated. Our citizens then be advised for venture for go through any elecam office. Any person who is registered under Cameroon government for vote have committed a crime and will be doing so at their own risk. We ask our people then for remain vigilant. We then get also the issue for 5 Ambazonians, the way they be killed for inside the great state, inside the Atlantic state, in particularly for inside the Acquire. We get the details from the population as well as the forces, the way they operate from the information we get them. It shows say forces them unknown, unidentified group for inside Acquire. They carry out an operation targeting a Cameroon spy. The operation failed, and in the course 5 picking them be killed. We condemn this one, and we ask for all groups for make sure so they get code of conduct, they get proper supervision and they avoid for attack our civilians. We'll be out and for protect our civilians. This war and for fight for the interest of our people and their safety and security. It be paramount. We're going to reach out for the family and we're going to make a public statement once our investigation it then be complete about this incident. We condemn the killing and attack of our innocent civilian who have nothing to do with the Cameroon occupation or Cameroon forces. There is absolutely no justification of what happened in Acquire, especially at the time where the forces them be under stress as we move in multiple front them for the Atlantic state to confront the Cameroon military. Some of the operations will require silence on communication. They could continue to go on for make sure say we bring back liberated area in the Atlantic state under full Ambazonian control, and we would carry out offensive military operations for new area for the Atlantic state, while the operations will already be slated for this month as the month go round through. For inside the Savannah state also they go to intensify. Make our people then continue for support the resistance and for do their duty to make sure say they support financially as well for provide the material they needed for our boys for continue their job. God bless you now. Capo Daniel signing off.